dimensional analysis. It's really about converting units. Dimensions in measurement refer to the kind of measurement you're doing. For example, length or mass or time, general categories of measurement. Units of measurement are specific choices of what units you measure in. So if you measure in miles or kilometers or feet, those are units of measurement. But the dimension you're measuring is length, no matter which of those you choose. So they can be converted one into the other. The same is true of pounds, ounces, and grams are all measurements of mass, and seconds, minutes, and hours measure time. The way that we convert measurements using dimensional analysis is by multiplying by fractions that we call the big one. Anything with an equivalent amount in the numerator and the denominator. For example, 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So this fraction is two equivalent amounts, which is equal to 1. The great thing about 1 is you can multiply it by other things without changing their actual value. 12 inches is the same as 1 foot, so that's another example that's equal to 1, or 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. All of these are examples of equivalent measurements in the top and the bottom. Let's see how we use those to convert measurements. Let's take 10 miles per hour and convert it to meters per second. Start with a fraction that means 10 miles per hour. We're going to break that down into 10 miles every 1 hour. First, let's go ahead and change the miles into meters. I put the conversion ratio right there. What you want to do is set up those two equivalent amounts in a new ratio and multiply. But it's important to put this unit in the opposite part of the fraction, because that will actually reduce out if they're opposite, if they're numerator and denominator like that. So I'm going to put my 1 mile in the bottom and my 1,609 meters in the top. The miles actually cancel out, and I'm left with this problem. 10 times this is now 16,090 meters. 1 times 1 is 1, and it's still hours. Okay, so now we have meters per hour. We can repeat this process until we change it into seconds. I'm going to rewrite it over here. Hours to seconds is easy. You probably have the conversion memorized in your head. So if you want to go ahead and just go straight to seconds, you can do that. But you can also do it in 2 steps, like this. 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. So the hours cancel, and now I have my 16,090 meters per 60 minutes. I'm not going to divide that out yet. I'm going to wait till the end. But in order to change the minutes to seconds, I repeat that. 1 minute, notice they're opposite locations, so they'll cancel. 60 seconds. And that one, the minutes cancel. Now I have 16,090 meters, 3,600 seconds. And we need the unit rate, so we divide. Let's use a calculator. So I've got 4.4694, on and on and on. Let's round it to 2 decimal places. That's about 4.47 meters per second. And that is the same as 10 miles per hour, but in meters per second. Okay, this is a fun one. Let's find out how many hours are in a year. So we start with our 1 year, and it's only one measurement, it's not a fraction, but we can put it over 1 with no measurements. We're going to multiply that by something to change years into a smaller unit, heading towards hours. So let's just put 1 year and say that's equivalent to 365 days. That's not exact, but that's what we usually use. And what you can do is continue to write out the multiplications that are needed, and you can do all the math at the end. So now I need days to hours. So 1 day is 24 hours. Okay, so the years cancel, the days cancel, and now I have hours, which is what I was looking for, but we have to do the math. So we've got a multiplication problem right here. 365 times 24 in the top, 1 times 1 times 1 in the bottom. So let's just do that math using a calculator. 8,760 hours. And that is the number of hours in 1 year. So get busy.